reaffirmed Pakistan's commitment to global cooperation for a more equitable and resilient future. On the sidelines of the high-level political forum, the Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister met the UN Secretary General and the President of the UN General Assembly at the UN. The DPM-FM reiterated Pakistan's firm support for multilateralism and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable development, and the protection of fundamental rights. He highlighted Pakistan's initiatives during the presidency of the UN Security Council, particularly its focus on multilateralism and UN-OIC cooperation. He also raised key issues and the UN's central role in conflict resolution, sustainable political dialogue between the European Union and Pakistan in place of Pakistan delegation was led by qualified Ambassador Amna Baloch. Vietnam delegation was led by Deputy Secretary General of the Express Election Service follows. The dialogue covered issues of EU-Pakistan bilateral dialogue between the European Union as well as regional and international issues, including the situation in Gaza and human rights and education in Jammu and Kashmir. Both sides agreed to deepen dialogue and discussions on security matters, including counter-terrorism and counter-narcotics. The EU and Pakistan reaffirmed their commitment to implementation of bilateral dialogue plan as well as of the 19 international issues and further reiterated their resolve to continue close engagement in joint and GSP framework. Both sides agreed to deepen the seventh round of Pakistan-UK dialogue on arms control, non-proliferation and disarmament was held on 16 July. The EU and Pakistan reaffirmed their additional Foreign Secretary for Arms Control, Disarmament and International Security as well as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Tahir Abdullah Saud, and Director of Defence and International Security at the Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office. That's the seventh round of Pakistan-UK dialogue on arms control, non-proliferation. Two sides engaged in comprehensive discussions on a wide array of issues, including international disarmament and regional security, strategic stability, arms control, disarmament, non-proliferation, adequate and peaceful use of security of the Foreign Commonwealth. Pakistan condemns in the strongest possible terms Israeli attacks against Syrian Arab Republic. Sides engaged in contravention of international law, violating of the British Charter, including international. These unprovoked attacks mark a dangerous escalating path being pursued by Israel in the region of security. Pakistan expresses its support for the strongest radical, independent, territorial integrity of Syria, calls on the international community to prevent Israel from its acts of aggression that continue to undermine the peace, stability, and path being pursued by Israel. Pakistan stands in deep solidarity with the brotherly people of Syria and reaffirms its strong support for lasting peace and stability in the country and its region. Pakistan condemns the continued acts of aggression by Israeli forces in Gaza and Palestine, leading to deaths of thousands, leading to deaths of dozens of innocent civilians, including elderly, women, and children. And we condemn Israel's constant hampering of adequate and safe access to the country and water and basic necessities to the Pakistan and Palestine. As per the United Nations Agency for Dealing with Palestine, which is UNRWA, 1 in 10 children in Gaza is malnourished due to Israel's siege of enclave, leading to an anthropogenic starvation crisis. Pakistan reiterates its call for immediate and unconditional ceasefire, an end to Israel's unabated massacre of the Palestinian people, lifting of the inhuman siege, expeditious delivery of humanitarian assistance to the Palestinian people. We firmly believe that the only just solution to the Palestinian question is the creation of an independent, viable, sovereign and contiguous Palestinian state along the pre-June 1967 borders with Al-Quds Al-Sharif as its capital. I thank you.
तर्जमान दफ्तर खारजा शफकत अली खान ने इस्लामाबाद में हफ्तावार न्यूज़ ब्रीफिंग दे रहे थे। कहा पाकिस्तान मुस्तहकम शामी का हामी है। नायब वज़ीर आज़म इसहाक़ डार अमरीका में मौजूद हैं। पाकिस्तान शाम पर इसराइली हमलों की शदीद मज़म्मत करता है। नायब वज़ीर आज़म इसहाक़ डार के हवाले से भी उन्होंने बात की और कहा कि नायब वज़ीर आज़म ने अक़वाम मुत्तहिदा में किसिरुल-जहती अमन को फ़रोग़ पर मुबाहिसे में शिरकत की। नायब वज़ीर आज़म ने मसला फ़लस्तीन, कश्मीर और सिंध तास मुआहिदे की बात की। नायब वज़ीर आज़म ने गज़ा में इसराइली बर्बरियत की शदीद मज़म्मत की है, जबकि नायब वज़ीर आज़म ने गज़ा में